Here we are again at another Joann Fabrics, okay? Is there anything left in here that's worth any money? Is there anything that's going to be worth us taking the time to salvage it? Now, the last one we did, it was basically all ferrous metal, and we got a really good paycheck out of that in scrap metal. And I'll tell you about that a little bit later on too. So come on, let's go check this out. All right, so what they would have done so far is they would have had a sale. They would have sold off everything that they possibly could to recoup some of their money. And what you see that's left is what they see or perceive has very little or no value. So I'm looking in here, I'm trying to figure out what is worth some money. These, when they first came out, I could sell these like crazy on eBay. Now they just don't sell. There's just too many of them available, I guess. Phone systems, these kind of things, they can be worth 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks. And the reason is people still have the systems. They're not really putting them in like this anymore, but they have systems that they're trying to maintain, and they don't want to buy a brand new one for $300. They like to buy one off eBay for 50 bucks and have it shipped to them. So what they're going to do is they're going to take these little boards out of everything, and then what's left over are these frames, and the frames are metal. So, and what we're going to do with it is we're just going to fill up one dumpster after another until we get them filled up. So this is a laser cutter, but the laser part of it's gone. So the laser that goes inside of here, I've seen one of these before. All right, so our job here is they're going to do two things. They're going to get all these metal shelves out of here. They're going to take the plastic, and they're going to take the backer boards, and they're going to put them into our dump trailers. All the metal is going to go into these big dumpsters out here. This is where this is really sad, because if you had to go and buy just this, it's 30 bucks or 20 bucks. So just one of these, okay? So now look at that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Look at the money just in that's going to get thrown away. So we're going to take that and we're going to throw it into a metal dumpster. We're going to take it to the scrapyard, and this is going to be considered white goods or shreds, and they're going to shred it up, melt it up, and turn it into something else. Now, because so many stores are closing across the United States, this kind of stuff is not worth much money anymore because people are just not putting it in. Now, this is old technology. This is 20, 30 years old. It's been probably reused a couple different times. Now, these rolling racks, really cool. Really nice. I sold a bunch of these over the years. Fortunately, something like this, if I had the room, we could sit on these for a little while, and what would happen is somebody from one of the big cities would come and buy them. Would somebody have use for this somewhere in one of the marketplaces? If I could sit on it long enough, yes. We need a building this big. We can't afford it. What real estate costs in this area, because of it being so close to the ocean, is mind-boggling. This would be a $5 million building for us, and $5 million is $35,000 a month in rent. It's just too much. So the truth of the matter is, what's going on across America right now, all these big boxes, they're too expensive to run. Between the labor, paying for the square footage of the property, cleaning, the AC, the electric to turn the lights on, and so on and so forth, it's just too much money. You compare that to online stuff where you can order something from Amazon and it be at your front door the next day. That's hard to compete with. Stores like this, they're in trouble. Now, these carts like this, these are really nice carts. These would have a market for them, and again, it's just having the space, and we just don't have it. And gosh, it just tears me up because I hate throwing this stuff away. So if you look at this right here, they got 50 bucks on this. So they had a furniture liquidation sale. They had 50 bucks on this. Everything that's still left in here is just what was left over. These racks here, they're rolling racks. They were selling them for $80 a piece. So I like this really cool hammer, which I'm gonna take with me. So they got a printer down here, really not worth messing with. Another one of these. This is an off-brand. The thing about this is if you put this on eBay, they used to sell like crazy. You know, this is old technology at this point. This is really old technology, and this really looks old, so probably not worth messing with again. Check that out. And now serving light. It's like, hey, you have to wait here for me to cut your fabric. You're number 123. This is going to be a couple different stages of demo here. So what'll happen is whoever comes in here is gonna demo this to the next level so that they can put in whatever they wanna put in here. Typically what they're gonna do is take these lights out. They'll probably redo the ceiling, possibly leave this because this is gonna be a low rent situation at this point, most likely. Let's go check out the back room now and see what else is here. If there's anything else here that's worth keeping. All right, so these are all metal. Same thing. These are, what the guys are gonna do is they're gonna have to knock off these boards and then they'll take the metal frames and just take them apart. We could reuse those cabinets. They're really in poor condition. I wouldn't want to mess with them. Oh my God, look, Herbie. Pretty common situation for you to open up the door and have that go off, and then you gotta listen to it all day long because nobody's got a key for it. Hey there, what's up? So we're basically running 2.5 crews here. Come on, let's get away from this. I see how you taped it up. That's what I would have done too. So back here in this room, this is normally one of the situations when you get back into an office where there might be some goodies in here. These components here, a lot of times people have these older systems and they need to replace something and they don't want to buy new and they don't want to update their whole system. So we'll take these back and we'll see if they're worth anything on eBay. The same thing with these control boards here. The monitors are worth practically nothing anymore. There's a computer back here. Looks like a DVR. That DVR might be worth something. So I'll talk to him about that. That's a pretty nice printer. This right here on the front of it means that it's a leased printer. So it belongs to somebody other than these people. They're not gonna come back and get it though. The filing cabinet that they made a desk out of, we'll get rid of that. This has had huge amount of scavengers come through here before we showed up. So the metal's going in this dumpster. This is plastic. The plastic's gonna go into one of these dump trailers. The plastic is C&D as far as the construction debris goes. And all those panels that are in there, the press board panels that go on the back of the shelves, those are all gonna be, they'll go into these trucks here. They got a dump trailer here, a dump trailer on that truck over there. They always bring their whole setups so that they have all their tools. They have their coolers, they have their water, they have everything that they need. They have their gloves, the blue tape, all the different things that they need to do this stuff. So what's going on right now is Talon has another dumpster. They're running 2 40s. So by the time that they go ahead and top this one off, the other one will be here and they'll switch it out. And then they'll do that over and over and over. That whole thing full of metal, you would think, boy, that's a lot of money. It's gonna be $500 or $600, okay? Ferrous metal doesn't weigh very much. 10 cents a pound is not very much. Boy, that just sucks, don't it? Dude, that's freaking annoying as hell, isn't it? Woohoo! That was easy. All right, if you go online and you say, geez, why is Joann Fabrics closing? Okay, well, there's some very obvious reasons that not just Joann's Fabrics is closing, but there's all kinds of different stores that are closing across the United States. The mall concept is being tested right now because what's going on is you can buy just about anything you want online, and it makes it hard. So when you got a big box store, you've got multiple locations. You've got to pay for power, you got to pay for insurance, you got to pay for the building, you got to pay for repairs, and so on and so forth, along with all the other things, which you're probably trading those off equally because you're paying for your employees to do things and move things around. We ended up getting called in like kind of last minute on both of these. We did 2 of these in a row. And what they're doing is they're putting in Halloween stores, and this is July. So the Halloween stores are wanting to go in here and they need a bunch of stuff out of the way. Now they kept a lot of this stuff too, so which makes us think that we're probably gonna be back in there very shortly. So what they're doing right here is they're knocking off all the plastic. So we'll put the plastic and the wood into a dump trailer and take it to a different dump. And then we'll take the metal and put it into our metal dumpster. And then you'll see later on in this video, you'll see us heading to the scrapyard. So last time we got about $2,000 worth of ferrous metal. Now that sure beats the heck out of taking it to the dump and dumping it and paying $500 or $600 a load to dump this stuff. Now ferrous metal, what is ferrous metal? Ferrous means that it's got iron in it. And iron is magnetic. So there's magnetic and non-magnetic stuff that you take to the scrapyard. Now the magnetic stuff is like the stuff you make most of cars are made mostly of, is iron. So they melt this stuff down and then they re-put it into some other different type of metal, like a car fender or a car engine or whatever, and then they repurpose it. So just one row after the other. This is a pretty good sized store. It looked like maybe 25,000 square feet to me. So what a terrible, terrible situation to take all this very nice stuff and toss it. Now we are repurposing, guys. We have a store, it's called Reuse It Pros. It's down in Bonita, and we repurpose more than anybody. So, but the problem with this kind of stuff is there's just not many people opening up brick and mortar stores right now. And the ones that are, they have the pick of buying stuff from nicer, newer stores with newer shelves and stuff that are going out of business. We're experiencing, just like everybody else in the United States, we're experiencing a slowdown in business. So whenever the real estate market gets soft, it kind of softens a lot of other industries. So what's going on right now for us is we're running 3 crews on this. Normally this time of the year we would not be able to run 3 crews on this because we're a lot busier. Now the benefit of taking on this job and doing these massive scrap metal runs, or junk removals basically is what these are, they're not something that we really take on a lot of during our primary part of our season, which is April, May, June, and most of July. We've done this in different marketplaces. We've done the junk removal stuff up in Charlotte, North Carolina for a short period of time, for a couple years. And we got a lot of this kind of stuff, and I was able to put it online and sell it up there. You know, that's a pretty big marketplace. This is a very small marketplace. So they had a big sale where they sold off all of their remaining inventory, and then they sold off all the fixtures and stuff and the different accessories that you would have in a store like this. And then what we are taking and getting rid of is what they couldn't sell in a timely manner. So this is a pretty common thing. We're seeing this more and more and more. Unfortunately, we're going to see it more and more and more. If we had a building the size of this building, we would have taken some of this stuff at least for a while and tried to find a new home for it. And again, it just being a scavenger like I am, it really hurts it hurts me to throw away this stuff that's worth probably, you know, if we had the time to sell it, this might be $40,000 or $50,000 worth of stuff. It might only be $20,000 worth of stuff, but if you had the time and the space to sell this stuff, you know, somebody somewhere needs it. And when you're dealing with the powerhouse things like eBay, you would be able to you'd be able to find a buyer somewhere in the country, hopefully. By the way, I put out our course. If you're looking to maybe mess around with the junk removal business, I put out for 2 months, we put out our $99 beginner course, which basically walks you through A to Z. I priced that at free. So it's free for the next 2 months. You go over to our school account. We'll put that down into our or in our description, and we'll also put it in and pin it to the first on the first thing on the comments. Here's a lesson that we learned. You see that dumpster right there? You see how big that dumpster is? Notice how it doesn't have any metal supports going down the side of it. Well, that was one of our early mistakes when we first started into the excavating business, because we were primarily hands-on for years. You look at the sides of it, see it doesn't have any vertical supports going down the side of it. When we first got that dumpster, the first 2 times I think we used it, we had to weld it back up. The third time what we did is we took it down on Fort Myers Beach and put it at the end of the beach on a lot that we just tore down a house, and we left it there for like a year. and we just used it as advertising. The really cool thing about it not having the ribs is you can put some stickers on it and it looks really, really cool. The downside is it can't take a lot of weight. It gets, it's easily, it breaks pretty easily. It can't take a lot of weight because it's not built properly. Something like that, if you're going to use it for stuff like hay or something light like that, it would work, or grass or certain types of landscaping, it would work for that, but it's not designed for the demolition stuff that we do. We did not do a lot of building teardowns prior to Hurricane Ian. When Hurricane Ian came in, we went ahead and we bought 2 roll-off trucks, we bought 2 semis, we bought multiple trailers, we bought 20 or so dumpsters. So after Hurricane Ian hit, we went ahead and stepped up, and we got more or less directly into the building demolition part of this. And we've been doing complexes, we've done gigantic buildings, we've done gigantic condo complexes, both on Sanibel and on Fort Myers Beach. And basically, you had Hurricane Ian hit, then Hurricane Idalia hit right after that. And I'm not saying they hit, Hurricane Ian hit us. Hurricane Idalia gave us some effects, a lot of wind, some flooding downtown. Then came Debbie, lots of flooding downtown again, some storm surge. Then came Helene, lots of storm surge, not really bad enough to get in a lot of houses, but it got in some houses. Then Milton came back in, and guess what? Pretty much gave us a good whack. Places that were 2.5 miles off of the ocean, they got hit. So all them hurricanes, what they happened is it started us into a new business, a new part of our business. We were the hands-on demo guys, and we do a good job. No matter what we do a good job. So we're fierce competitors now in the building demolition part of this business. Now notice how this dumpster is built differently. You see how it's got the metal ribs going down the side of it? This is one of our demo dumpsters, and this is a 40-yarder. And what does a 40-yarder do for you? Normally, most of the bigger dumpsters out there are 30-yard dumpsters. The 40-yarders, they're kind of specialty. They're hard to load into if you're loading from the ground because they're so tall. But for what we do, using excavators and stuff like that and tearing down houses, between our 2 roll-off trucks and our fleet of 4 or 5, I don't know, 6 or 7, I don't remember how we have, of these 40-yard dumpsters, it just cuts down on the number of trips we got to make to the scrapyard. See how beat up that dumpster is? That other dumpster doesn't have the additional supports to handle that. So what happens is all the little dents and stuff like that, if we used that other dumpster this way, it would just tear it apart. It's just not strong enough. That is Pedro, and what he's doing right there is he's trying to get everything down to the point where he can get the tarp up and over the load. You know, you got to tarp your loads as a CDL driver and as a company. So he's picking up this 40-yarder, and then we're going to go with him to the scrapyard. Now, this is not our Sarasota scrapyard. This is going back to a local scrapyard here. They don't really want us filming there, so we stay inside the truck and film. It's a pretty cool place. Those guys know us there. They watch our videos and stuff like that. We had some drama with them a long time ago. I won't go into that here, but we do have videos of that, some of our early videos to the scrapyard. Now we actually drive 100 miles to a different scrapyard just because we're getting better pricing, and we're getting treated a little bit differently, and we're in like a partnership with them in the sense that they let us film there, and we actually have nothing but good things to say about them anyway. but we're just, you know, giving them a little press. So this is us on our way to the scrapyard, and we're going in, and basically what you do is you go in and you get weighed, and then after you get weighed, you go in, you dump, and you come back and you get weighed on your way out. So this is it's a pretty nice facility. They've done a lot with it. This guy that sold this to the people that own it now, he was from my hometown of Cincinnati. I think he passed away, and I think his family sold off the business. Pretty cool little setup. They got it going on. So basically this is ferrous metal, which will get run up a conveyor belt, that little machine you see back there in the distance.
That was an old guy inside saying, "Tell Dave I love his show, I love his video."
What's going to happen is this will get dumped off. They'll make sure that we don't have anything that's heavy in there that's mixed in, and then they'll give us a ticket, and we'll come back through and reweigh. And then what they'll do is they'll eventually put that up onto a conveyor belt, and the conveyor belt runs it up and runs it through a mulching machine, and it's a metal mulching machine, and it pulverizes all this stuff and makes it into very small pieces, which makes it easier for them to transport large amounts of metal at one time. And then what they'll do, like all them cars right there, they'll shred that stuff up, and about 90% of everything that comes to the scrapyard that is ferrous is actually metal. The rest of it is glass or cushions or wood or plastic, a bunch of other things like that. And that kind of stuff, when they send it up through this, it gets mulched up, and they have a vibrating system up there, and different things vibrate at a different level, and then certain things will, and then they use magnets to hold down the metal. Now that's about 120 yard dump trailer right there. So that's really, really big. We're running our biggest one is a 65 yarder. So that's gigantic. I don't even know if that they run that on the road or not. So what he's got is he's got a whole bunch of ferrous metal, maybe moving it just from one part of the yard to another, or maybe just picking it up from down the street. A lot of times when they're that long, they can't make turns. The reason that most of these are a certain size, most of the trailers are a certain size, is so that you can get up to a traffic light, make a right-hand turn, and be able to actually navigate the turn. So that is not a dump trailer, it looks like, or the dump trailer is not working anymore. So he's picking up all this stuff, and he's pulling it out of that trailer with that grapple, I forget what you call it. It's basically it's a grapple hook for the end of it's almost like an excavator in a way. So he's basically picking up the metal, pulling it out. So that whole pile there, where we would dump, would be the same place. So we're waiting our turn. Now he's going to grab these cars and pull them off. That guy's going to have to unstrap them first, or he already unstrapped them. If he already unstrapped them, then he'll go ahead and just grab them. And then he'll just put them up on the conveyor belt, unless they're not running the conveyor belt right now. A lot of times they just put this stuff right up on the conveyor belt. So that big thing with the looks like a slide on it, that is a processor, and it basically there's a gigantic conveyor belt, and that machine lays everything on the conveyor belt. It goes up the conveyor belt, and it gets put into a pulverizer, and it spins, and it just chews all this stuff up, including the motors. It chews up the glass, the cushions, everything. And then there's a little vibrating setup up there that separates the glass, the metal, the plastic, and the cushions and everything, and gets it all separated. And then they sell this stuff off to whoever's buying it in the world. They put them into Connex boxes, or shipping boxes is what people will call them. They're 20 yard, 40 yard boxes, and they ship them all over the country. Now that's all aluminum right there. Those are Connex boxes you see in the background that are stacked on top of each other. Now that right there is all ferrous metal. Again, aluminum is not ferrous. Ferrous metal is magnetic. It's magnetic because it has iron in it. There's brass, copper, aluminum, there's pewter, there's all kinds of other different things, gold, silver, all that stuff is non-ferrous and it's not non-magnetic. The rest of the cheapest and the most widely used metal is regular scrap metal. So that's a grapple hook right there. And that guy just stacked all them cars over there, and he's keeping his job site clear, and they're going to do different types of metal different ways. Now when they're running cars, they're going to have guys on alert in case one of them catches on fire so they can put it out. So meanwhile, Pedro is opening up the back door and dumping this out, and then he'll pull forward and literally bada bing bada boom, they're all done. And then that guy up there, he's more or less the yard foreman in this area, and he's making sure that nobody's mixing anything in with their loads that they shouldn't, that you're not bringing water in there, or rocks or anything that's going to make your load heavier so that you can get more money for your load. You're basically paid per pound. Now that stuff right there is it's going to be between 7 cents and 10 cents a pound. So it's really not that much money. So on this particular run, I would be shocked if it's more than $600. So it beats the heck out of taking it to the landfill and dumping it and having to pay to have it dumped. So you're actually making a little bit extra money. It's kind of a little icing on the cake in a way. So this is what happens when you have a lightweight dumpster like this and you're using it for heavyweight stuff. If we use this for regular demolition, it would get to the point where they wouldn't be able to shut the back door. So we use it for lightweight operations like we're doing right here. Like that scrap metal just really doesn't weigh a lot. That might be a couple thousand pounds at the most. Whereas if you put construction debris or concrete or anything like that in it, it would be multiple tons of material. They put in this facility maybe 20 years ago. It's pretty sharp looking for what it is. They got offices upstairs. So it looks like, it's $600 or $700. Heading back out of the scrapyard and heading back over to North Fort Myers and heading to Joann Fabrics, and we're going to get finished up. So this job was I think it was about a $5,000 job. Now the grand total for this job for scrap metal will be right at $2,000. So more or less, each one of the 40 yarders that went to the scrapyard was about $500. So there it is. That's what it looks like. That's what a Joann Fabrics looks like, all cleaned up. So now these guys are going to come in with their Halloween store, and they have their basic setups, and they're going to come in and put up their shelving and put in their setup for just Halloween. And then this place is going to be put up for lease. Somebody else might have already leased it for all I know. And this is one of those shopping centers where it's probably going to get leased out just in the same condition that you see it in right now. Because, the big box stores that can afford the really big renovations and stuff, they're not expanding right now. Matter of fact, I think most of them are running for cover. They're trying to figure out how to get through this economy, or how to transition their sales in such a way where they can survive through this new economy that we're in. You know, and on top of that, you know, when you look at a Joann Fabrics, the amount of material that was on every shelf was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So it really makes it a really hard thing for them to keep up with. So these guys must have asked us to leave those carts. They were going with us. We don't really care. Whatever they want, that's what we're going to do. Thanks for joining us. This was a huge junk removal, kind of a small job for us. So we basically took apart all this stuff, cleared it out, got it ready for the Halloween people to come in and have their little Halloween sale. All right, so if you're thinking about going into starting a side hustle, or going into the junk removal business, or doing some version of that, we have our junk removal course. We're offering it free of charge. It's the $99 course, and you can see the link down below in the description, and also in the first comment. So for 2 months, it's free of charge, basically showing you how to do what we did, where we started, how we did it, and how we've built this pretty good sized company based off of the junk removal business. So if you like this video, you'll really like this video right here. This is a video of us tearing down a 7-story building right on the beach, and all the really crazy, incredible valuables that we got out of it.